Hey everybody, welcome to episode 200 of A Quality Interruption. My name is James Kislingberry, General Layabout.
My name is Cruz Flores, the dad that will never get drunk and hit you.
Cruz, we're hitting episode 200. It's our bicentennial episode.
200 years we've been doing this show.
It's true, and I'm gonna treat myself to a little sip of coffee. Here, hold on, this is for the people.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, James.
That's okay. That's all right.
I did get
Solid
you a gift.
B minus. Oh, great. Is it for Flophouse? Is more Flophouse merch? You overbought Flophouse merch?
No. It is specifically
Your flop
for you.
box?
It is specifically a thing that I thought James would like.
Okay, good. It is a crap shirt. Okay, I was like, if it's just an alien shirt, I will be disappointed. It says Alan.
And then
It has the alien egg.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says, in space, nobody can hear you, space. That's pretty... It's for the audience at home here. For those watching on YouTube, because they followed a far-right algorithm to watch our show, which is what... Cruz...
It goes Ben Shapiro, InfoWars, and then us.
It's apparently to be an alt-right success, you have to be super short, fit into your pocket, like a borrower.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro. You ever notice how much Ben Shapiro talks about hating cats?
Yeah,
It's really weird. It's just like he'll just be starting to talk about cats for no reason.
It's weird how it has to hide his tail.
Yeah, and then either that or just a giant chili man. It's a Krang type, which is Alex Jones, a hairless Krang.
So what are we talking about this week,
Oh,
James?
right, that's this podcast. Well, Cruz, today on Quality Interruption, again, this is a long trip to this movie, but we are doing a little film that I would like to call Terminator 2,
Judgment Clay.
Judgment Day. Thank you.
Right.
This film is from 1991. It is, unless my math is incorrect, 156 minutes long, which I'm going to go ahead and say it's a little long.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that the director's version?
You know what? That must have been it.
That's the director's version.
Yeah, you know what? Because you go to Amazon, it's
Yeah.
at 156 minutes, or I was on Google and it was just like, fuck, really?
Yeah.
But you're right. I think it's 117, or it's 2 hours 17, which is better. A more reasonable amount of time.
Yes.
Anyways, this film is, of course, produced and directed by none other than Sir James Cameron. This film is, of course, also co-written by William Wisher.
Huh.
Score by Brad Fiedel, possibly Brad Fidel, which he did the score for the original Terminator.
Of course, you gotta bring him back.
Oh yeah, he earned it. He did the da-da-da-da-da-da. Give that man work. And of course, with special effects by none other than Stan Winston.
Yep.
With help from ILM, which is always nice to see.
Oh, nice working together.
Yeah, is ILM still around?
Yes.
Is it just
very much
Weta?
so. No. They're still around.
Okay, that's good news. I'm gonna close that door because it's the toilet's driving me nuts.
Okay. I don't want you to go
Words
crazy.
to die by. Anyways, so
James, let me ask you something.
Oh, Cruz, please ask me anything you want about Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Is this your favorite movie?
It is my favorite movie.
Okay.
Watching it again, I'm like, this movie, it's a little long. I still love it. And I didn't... Rewatching the original Terminator, The Terminator, made me realize how much good things there were about this movie. Watching Terminator 2, I don't feel like there's that many things to discover. Maybe because I've just seen it probably way more than any other movie.
Many times, yes.
Too many times.
Right.
With that said, the Terminator 2, my enjoyment is as much about just the general arc of the thing as like the little tiny moments that I don't think that are it's two things. It's a bit of a paradox. I oversell because of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like when that Pepsi can gets shot, I'm like, yeah! Which is a very specific thing. I realize that. But two, it's also a movie that has such attention to detail and is so well formed and fully formed that it is a movie that is emblematic of that fucking Pepsi can exploding. Yeah. Because somebody actually paid attention to say, hey, what if we put a squib in a Pepsi can? Which is a thing I have not seen before or since. Marvel movies cost $200 million now, and there's nothing as cool as when that guy's fucking Pepsi can gets shot. And the sound on the Pepsi can. I just want to talk about the Pepsi can, Cruz. It's a very big moment. They show the guy, then they show the Pepsi machine, and you're like, where are we going with this? Well, they're going to shoot the Pepsi can.
Just so much, James. You feel overfilled.
It's true. It's I'm wearing my corporate. I better keep this on because they're not paying us for branding.
No.
You got any gaffer tape? We'll talk about it later.
I saw this in the theater. I think I said before that Predator had been my first.
Is this one of the part of the
movies.
wave of inappropriate?
My brother took me to
Okay.
this, so
All right,
that's less inappropriate.
It is still inappropriate, but it's planned inappropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My parents know that I'm gonna be seeing movies like Summer School or Revenge of the Nerds or shit like that, you know.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Revenge of the Nerds is probably secretly a more terrible movie for a child to watch.
Not as secret at all.
Well,
much
now.
more.
I
Yeah.
mean, quietly, I should say.
It was actually the second one. It was the Nerds in Paradise. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of this movie,
Yes.
I had already seen
Important sequels.
Predator.
Yeah.
And I had by now, between, you know, when I saw Predator...
Apple, why would I want to fucking update you? You're not even open. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I forgive you, James. I had seen the other Arnold movies in between, so I was aware of Terminator. And man, this movie had like...
It is the ultimate movie.
Like,
In a lot of ways.
the fact that, like, when people look back and they look at the structure of this film, some people are like, well, wouldn't it have been cool if you didn't know that, you know, if you could go in blind to Terminator 2
Yeah.
and not realize that Arnold was going to be the good guy. But let me tell you, in 1991, there was absolutely no way in the world that you could not know that Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to be the good guy in Terminator 2.
I am of two minds. Yeah, again, I'm kind of two minds about that. So, this will be a theme, but I watched this movie with somebody who has never seen this movie before.
Mhm.
This is the first Terminator movie they've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
So they're going into it, and I'm like, okay, so basically all you need to know about the original Terminator is this.
Mhm.
They probably explain it in the movie, but just so you know, because
Right.
yeah. So like Arnold's the bad guy, and so they're watching it and they're going in thinking like, wait, so is Arnold the bad guy or is the cop the bad guy? I'm like, well, first off, there's no way a cop could be a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Blue Lives Matter. Cops can't be bad. He's a hero.
Mhm.
John Connor obviously did something wrong. Even if he's a bad guy, it's because John Connor did something wrong.
You think if this movie was made today, you'd have like one of those little flag, you know?
No, he'd have the black banner
Yeah.
over the badge, which is just like, you're a cop. Like, yes. Then, by the way, again, lumberjacks braver than cops. But anyways, I use wood a lot more often. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Well, wood doesn't try and kill you, James.
well, yeah, that's true. You know what? Hey, if they're robbing you,
Mm.
you'll be paying for a lumberjack to show up.
Mm.
But anyways, so I'm going in watching this movie, like them not necessarily knowing that Arnold's the good guy, and it always makes me kind of think that like it would have been cool
Yeah.
is if that was an actual twist.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also think about like what's the fucking marketing?
It's like
Like the marketing has to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be the good guy in this movie. Also, we can't show any footage past like the 55-minute mark.
this was like
Actually,
this
that's not
was
even true. Like 30-minute mark.
the biggest movie of all time
Yes.
when it came out.
Yeah.
And like not only was that Arnold was the hero that not a secret, how everything was done was not a secret. There were constant.
There is. So I fell down a YouTube hole last
Mhm.
night because I was just looking for like the original teaser trailer
Mhm.
because I was thinking like, how is this movie marketed? Because this has to do with what you were saying, which is it sold as Arnold is the hero this time, and it is. The initial teaser is just like this movie exists.
Mhm.
There will be a robot in it.
Yeah.
Which I like a good teaser trailer. Now it's just like here's 5 seconds of a movie.
Right,
It's like,
right.
that's not a teaser. Get the fuck out of here. But so I was falling down a hole looking at like old Terminator 2 footage. There is just a video. This is clearly a video sent to retailers,
Mhm.
and it is just an advertisement starring the T-1000,
Right.
talking about the VHS campaign and how big this is going to be. And you want to get in on the ground floor.
Oh,
Make sure to
wow.
have plenty of, and it's just kind of like nobody else wanted to do this, huh? Robert Patrick was like, "I'll take the fucking 50 grand. I don't give a shit." Like, it'll be on the Tumblr. I highly recommend everybody check out our Tumblr.
Mhm.
That's called Buzz Marketing Cruise. But yeah, it's just everything about Terminator 2. If the first movie is just this sort of A-list treatment of a B-list,
Spunky,
Yeah.
trashy, you know.
yeah, Twilight Zone episode. This is a culmination of every action movie ever made. This is what every action movie was leading to. In a lot of ways, this movie feels like it is the culmination, and it is like the goodbye. Because after this, you can't do, not you can't, but it is like all these 80s action movies
Mhm.
are leading to this very moment.
Well, here's the thing, James. Like, when I
including
watched
Arnold's
this,
own career.
and I really loved it. Oh yeah, I mean, we talked about with Last Action Hero that Terminator 2 was the apex.
Yeah.
And then it was all like a slow descend from there.
Which again, after you hit, you hit 10 out of 10, it's going to be a downhill slide.
For me personally, I look back at this now and I'm like, I think this is where I got my snootiness. This is what broke me of action movies. That I couldn't just watch dumb, kind of thrown together
You can't
action
watch Commando.
movies.
This is why I never got into Commando.
I couldn't do it anymore, and I couldn't watch the next ones. You know,
They were really bad.
The 90s, well, not just the next Terminators, but the 90s, slightly less so action movies.
True Lies has its problems, but technically it is at least proficient on the level of this film.
Every time I watch those movies from then on, I'm like, well, that's not, somebody already did the good version,
Yes.
Somebody did this perfectly. What are you supposed to do now?
Also, again, watching this movie, yeah, but where do you go from here? You just have to do different things. But also watching this movie, I'm like, I bet you probably couldn't get away with a lot of these stunts at this point. Because there are definitely stunts in this movie where even James Cameron was like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that. Like,
Here's what
I can't believe we actually did that.
I
then should have died.
Some issues with how James Cameron puts together a movie. But in this movie, I will say this, that what he does not get credit for in this movie is taking what he has, and then from there, instead of going, well, let me look at what old sci-fi story I can rip off, actually think of an idea that has to do with what he has in front of him. Dogma 95, like.
yeah, go on. Yes, and.
We have this technology.
That's why Lars von Trier made Dogma 95. He's like, what can you do after Terminator 2?
We have this technology to make shiny blobs on the computer. What can we do with shiny blobs? What do we turn that into?
Yeah.
You can make...
Well, he made an entire movie about shiny blob... Not sphere. Why did I say sphere? It's...
The Abyss.
The Abyss, thank you.
And, the
other submersible movie.
So he made The Abyss, and then he went back to Terminator 2. He has the shiny blob technology. What can we do with shiny blob technology?
Yeah.
How can we make that a Terminator? And you got this incredibly cool idea.
It's the fucking coolest idea.
Of a liquid metal Terminator.
You mean mimetic polyalloy?
Oh goodness, James.
Which is the only time I actually, because I had subtitles on this time, and I was like, oh, I have been mishearing that for years.
Now, to be fair,
excuse me, mimetic polyalloy.
Watching it this time
took 12 minutes to get that impression, folks. 12 minutes.
Congratulations.
We are shockingly disciplined.
This time I'm watching it, I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, a gun, any kind of gun, would probably be the worst weapon against something that you cannot pierce so much as you're trying to just push back.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's all the Terminators.
Like, no, but like the original Terminator, the T-800,
yeah,
you can damage with bullets.
Yes. Sure. Yeah.
You can
they have to
slowly tear apart.
Yeah.
The fact that all you can do with the T-1000 is push him slightly, you could do that with your hand more proficiently than a bullet.
Well, Chris, if you want to go ahead and throw hands with the T-1000, you're more than welcome to.
That's why you get a broom, James. You get a broom, and with the end of that handle, you're like, hey, stay over there.
I got, so, quick aside on this, all these asides, I got colossally drunk and watched, unforgivably drunk. And I watched Terminator Genesis.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
That is a fucking bad movie.
Where John Connor is bees.
I don't even want to, there are parts of that movie I can't remember, and I'm 90% certain it's not because I was drunk, it's because there's nothing to that movie. But anyways, the important thing about that movie is that they spray acid on the T-1000. I just kind of watch it going like, nah, it's cheating.
Yeah.
Like, anytime a sequel goes back and it's like, we solved the problem, it's like, fuck you, you're not smarter than James Cameron. And he's insane. I'm not saying he's that smart, I'm saying you're very dumb.
Yeah, oh well.
Anyways, so, so this fucking movie. This movie is... Yeah, like I said, it is like the ultimate action movie. And you have a lot of action movies from the 1990s afterwards, like, I don't know, like your Independence Days, your,
Well, I mean, like Jean-Claude Van Damme's,
Yeah.
and your, Steven Seagal's, and your...
I'm glad you mentioned that, because none of these guys were ever as cool
No.
or as good
Mhm.
as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't so much an actor as he is, like, a phenomenon. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, he is like this platonic ideal
Right.
of something. I mean, like, I have my laser disc
Mm-hmm.
to your left.
Yeah.
It just says Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Also, it's a very long name, so they probably don't want to put Arnold because it'll fuck up the graphic design. But it's just Schwarzenegger.
Mhm.
That's all you need. All you need is the name. And you watch this movie, and first off, everybody's the coolest in this movie. Except for Robert Patrick, who's a cop dork. But Arnold Schwarzenegger...
Well, he fits into that original idea that James Cameron had, that the Terminator could be anybody.
Yeah.
Like, that you could just blend in and, not...
It's an infiltration unit.
Yeah,
Other than the fact that he's like 500 pounds, but that's neither here nor there. Well, it's an alloy, so it's actually pretty light.
He doesn't do that thing where, like, you get into the car and it, lowers down, like
The RoboCop.
Yeah.
I mean, once RoboCop did it, James
Yeah.
Cameron's like, well, now I don't.
I don't want to. Now I don't want to.
I don't want to. Anyways, so what was I saying? Like the idea, yeah. So I fucking forgot. What was I saying?
That everybody's so cool.
Everybody's so cool. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the fucking coolest dude in the entire universe. And watching this like a couple of years ago, I was just struck by the fact that like in 1991,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't be fucking cooler than Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The fact
Like
that
it's impossible. I don't know that like it's like they tried to recreate Arnold being somebody being cool in a lab.
Yeah.
And it's impossible.
The fact that he could drive away in that all leather black and his sunglasses and the motorcycle and it playing Bad to the Bone, which was already a parody. It was already being parodied
And
everywhere.
James Cameron puts on his sunglasses and goes, "Don't worry about it."
You could get away with that, and people are just throwing things at the screen for how dumb it is.
Yeah, but
It works.
it fucking works so like, yeah, like the comedic in general, the comedic beats in this film work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's again I think a thing that a lot of action movies learn the wrong lesson on. At the very least, Terminator 3, which is just a comedy. It's
Mhm.
really bad. At least True Lies is like very snide about like, yeah, we're gonna make fun of this. Like at the very least, it's like, well, it's James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger making fun of themselves,
Yeah.
but also we get a good action movie. All right, that's okay. But yeah, you have like the little comedic beats
Mm-hmm.
that work that don't ever take away from the fact that Arnold is cool as fuck.
Mhm.
In the director's cut, that is not true.
The director's cut goes a little long in a lot of places.
It's too long and it goes too broad.
Michael Biehn comes back to
Which is nice to see him
Cuddle.
getting a paycheck.
but that scene goes on forever.
Yeah, and you learn nothing.
You learn absolutely nothing that you don't later. You have the kind of screwing in his head.
Again,
scene.
very cool scene because you get to see Linda Hamilton's twin, and
Mhm.
they do a pan around
Right.
to a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and you go, wait, how the fuck did they do that? And it's literally it's just Linda Hamilton's twin is how they did that.
I like the second part of that scene more because
Yes.
they have an argument. I want to say the actors' names: Eddie Furlong and Linda Hamilton.
Oh yeah, we didn't even say who's starring in this movie, but go on.
Linda Hamilton, Edward Furlong, and that's all
Robert
you
Patrick.
need. Robert Patrick.
Earl Bowen.
Hmm?
Joe Morton.
Oh yeah.
Most
of course.
importantly, Joe Morton, and of course Jeanette Goldstein.
Oh, I love Jeanette Goldstein.
But go on.
They have an argument about whether to destroy the Terminator or not, the T-800, and John is like, "We need him, we need him." Like I was a little. I felt the argument was better that they need him to survive.
Yeah.
Like if anybody is going to kill the T-1000, it's going to be him. But he makes the argument that he proves that the future exists, which is less so. I think less of a solid argument, but it makes sense that they have to keep him alive.
Yeah.
And having that argument is good. It makes sense that she would be, against this.
Yeah, and well, I mean, there's Sarah Connor is
Traumatized.
What's the word? Real wild card in this movie.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, well, there's a lot of all of those scenes basically just tell you stuff that the film tells you anyways.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and S. Epitha Washington gets more scenes in the director's cut.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there is Niles Dyson. There's more. See, I always want to say Niles. Miles Dyson. There's more Miles Dyson, and he goes Raging Waters, and I'm going like, you live in Malibu. That is in San Dimas.
Mm.
That
It's too far.
You gotta fucking get a hotel down there or something.
Right.
That's way too much. That house also appears in a film called Life as a House. I believe it is Kevin Kline's house.
Yeah, and Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, and it fucking really throws me off because I'm watching it going like, I'm like, we watched that like in school because like as like a kind of like it's a movie about like teens and like learning about yourself and whatever. And like also Anakin Skywalker like gets like tricked out almost at some point, which is that's the climax of the movie. The guy goes, "Hey, you fuck kids." The guy goes, "All right, I'll stop worrying about this zoning variance." That is literally a plot point to the movie. Anyways, I'm watching the whole time going like, "Am I crazy?"
Yeah.
Everybody like, does nobody see it? It's the Terminator house. We got a sweet deal on this because somebody blew it up. But yeah, so also, this film got the deleted scenes, and then the last scene is Arnold learning to smile, and it's like a very comedic clowning scene, and you just go, yeah, no, I can see why you got rid of this.
Yeah, it does give that base of when he smiles at him just a little bit later when he brings up the minigun.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a movie where someone shoots a minigun and actually hits people?
I mean, from a personal minigun, no.
Yeah.
No, because usually it's like a helicopter.
Yeah.
Because there's basically only two handheld miniguns.
Yeah.
It's Predator and this.
Oh, well.
Fucking so cool.
Yeah.
So fucking cool. So anyways, yeah, so we barely even talked about this fucking movie. Let's just blow through as quickly as humanly possible. We'll just talk about the important parts. Yeah. You talked about this beforehand. The fucking intro in this movie. The introduction is great, like just the cold open, and it's the future, and just horrible shit's going down, and Linda Hamilton, as Sarah Connor, just sets it up.
No longer the fluffy-haired waitress from the first movie.
Well, we don't know that yet. We don't know what her hair situation is. Like, does she have bangs? Does she have a ponytail?
Right.
So she sets everything up. Also, I watched this movie last week, and it's not on my recommendations list, but it's called Assassination Nation. Came out last. I talked to you about this, but came out last year. And it's almost worth watching just because I'm 90% sure that the director, Barry Levinson's son, went to the main actress and just went, watch Terminator 2 and just do this.
Yes.
Because the flat affectation, but also it doesn't work because the whole time I'm going like, Sarah Connor had to kill a Terminator as a waitress.
Right.
What is your problem? Somebody exposed your sex. Like, that's bad, but also, like, by the end of the movie, I'll give you credit on your worn out monologue. But you gotta kill somebody first. You gotta earn this. That's what Tom Hanks was saying about, you want to be a cynic? You gotta do some dark shit first. Like, what? Bye. It's the end of this weird alternate version. Laters.
So long. Outs.
Just see you. Text. Anyways, we'll do Saving Private Ryan one of these days. Anyways, so the introduction, a lot of skulls. So many fucking skulls.
Right.
I love that the future is just like the only thing that survives is skulls and playgrounds.
Right.
That's fucking fantastic. You get a lot of laser guns.
They're just everywhere. You're just walking on, you're just kicking them, you know?
Is this yours? Is this my skull? Anyways. So that's fucking
Maybe
great.
they're in Paris.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're blowed up Paris.
Paris blowed up and now they're in the catacombs.
No, yeah, because the surface is gone. So, you get that. You get a lot of, like, good miniature work. And then you get your fucking... This is, like... This is such a good setup for what this film is. Like, Christopher Nolan, full-blown, like, literally just stole the fucking intro. Like, the title card sequence is just fire in slow motion.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the coolest shit in the world. And Christopher Nolan went, well, they already did that. Aha! I'll put a blue filter on it.
That's good enough.
And you know what? It fucking works. It works so... Christopher Nolan's like, no. I'm not going to waste time with credits.
You know what?
I'm just going to put a logo up.
You know what's hotter than yellow fire? Blue fire.
I don't know that that's true, Chris, but you're paying me to say yes, so...
100% is.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. I think it's just what's burning. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's a fucking good intro. It's the fucking point. But also, it's funny just for Christopher Nolan to go, I'm going to fucking beat you, James Cameron. James Cameron's watching it, like, just tears up his playbill.
One temperature higher. Blue, and then then we get the white fire.
And then, James Cameron's just like, I'll invent a hotter fire.
Yeah.
I'll go to the bottom of the sea.
Where it's hottest.
Go to the magma vents. Somebody, there's an online theory that James Cameron has deep sea madness, has nitrogen-based madness.
Yes.
And I was like reading up the symptoms. I'm like, you could probably do that with anybody, but also none of them live at the bottom of the sea.
Right.
So James Cameron probably has deep sea madness at this point. Why else would you say people need 5 Avatar movies? And a friend of the show, Joe, I think it's in Florida. He's in Disney World. There's a fucking Avatar land.
Is it there already?
Yeah, that was the thing. I was like, I thought it was in like Europe somewhere.
No,
it's like, well, the fucking Europeans don't like Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. They're into Avatar over there.
But they have it already.
Yes.
Wow.
He's in Pandora, which is kind of cool because that's the only thing good about Avatar is the art design. But I was like, I know intellectually that Avatar Land exists. Emotionally, it makes no sense to me.
No,
I'm just looking
I've
at it
seen
going.
Nobody talk about it or anything like that.
That's like Avatar in general. Everybody saw that movie, and somehow nobody's had a conversation about it in 15 fucking years, or whenever that movie came out.
I mean, let's talk about this real quick. James Cameron's ideas, they're not heavy.
No, James Cameron is not an intellectual director, and James Cameron, I don't believe, fools himself into thinking that he is an intellectual.
But what he has of an idea, do you think that for the most part, Sarah Connor is his mouthpiece of this movie?
Well, I suppose so, because she's also, like, the most human out of anybody. I don't think James Cameron sees himself as a 10-year-old boy, which, by the way, I never fucking believe that kid is 10 for, like, 1 second. Even as a kid, I'm like, that kid's, like, 14.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
No, it makes
I just figured out this movie takes place in 1995, also.
So he's supposed to be 10 and riding a motorcycle?
Yeah, it was the 90s. I don't know, man. It was the Valley. It's Reseda. It's lawless out there.
That's crazy, man.
So, I would say so, because also you can't put your voice into a Terminator. James Cameron isn't enough of a hack to try that.
Right.
But yes, I think Linda Hamilton is probably the most relatable. It kind of reminds me of the Kate Capshaw thing of, yes, that is how a human being would react to this situation.
Well, I mean, on the other hand, I noticed a lot more of John, like, taking it upon himself to try and humanize the Terminator.
Yes.
To try, and not just as a cover or you know, as a...
There's a rationalization. It's
Yeah.
like that's what your brain does to a thing that is shaped like a human being.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to watch. It's hard to watch this movie and imagine him as a robot.
Yeah.
And it isn't until like the SWAT team like actually shoots him to fuck. Like you have the arm and everything. It isn't until the SWAT team, Dean Norris, R.I.P., shoots the fuck out of him that his face falls off.
Right.
And you actually see like the robot parts beneath. Actually, I think it's actually when T-1000 like whips the shit out of him and like rips off part of his face. It isn't until like you actually see the robot eye that I'm like, oh right, it's just a fucking skeleton. He's just a skeleton with, which I guess we all are, with flesh thrown over him.
Well, you know, the thing of it is in this one, discontinuity. Good guys don't rot. Good Terminators don't rot, I guess. I thought that was one of the coolest parts of the first one, is like as soon as like he had one pierce at all, you know, like it started like stinking up the place.
Okay, you're right. My read on that was just because he's like cutting off pieces of his body, or like the damaged part. I don't know. Whatever.
It doesn't quite fit. I mean, in the first one, they said nothing more can come back because the war is over.
Yeah.
In the future, the war is over, and they're continuing it in the past.
Yeah, there's yeah, but
we need us.
Yeah, James Cameron needs to get that sweet submersible money. Sorry, folks, I'm real nasally today. Yeah. So, anyways, so. Yeah.
Did they ever make it make sense that like why like after Reese and the original T-800 go back and then the T-1000 and
Chris, I'm just gonna. This is for the video component of the show.
Well, I mean,
he's doing the finger thing. The finger thing means money.
Yeah. The finger thing means the taxes.
No. So like
story wise, did they ever like say what happened?
So in the third one, well, first off, I think Kyle Reese doesn't. My opinion is just that Kyle Reese doesn't necessarily know what the fuck is going on. It's not like Kyle Reese is somebody's like, here's the plan, here's He's not like in the situation room. Like he's just a grunt.
Okay.
So he might understand the war is basically over, but intellect like this. I have no proof of this, but in my mind, the rationalization is just that there is like basically the equivalent of like stay behind cybernetic troops. That like they might have blown up the mainframe, but there might be like groups of robots that are still around. So like they might have a second time machine with the T-1000. So like whatever.
Was the fourth one the one where
I can answer you any question about Terminator? Yes.
Was played by
Anton Yelchin.
Yeah.
It's a weird. I like Anton Yelchin. Choice. It's a really weird casting choice.
Yeah, Michael Biehn, Anton Yelchin.
I watched that movie again recently because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, okay, I could watch a good movie. I could watch Seventh Seal and pay attention, or I could just put on the dumb Terminator movie. And I remember that introductory movie's got a good like first 15 minutes.
Right.
Except for the fucking okay, that's not true. The opening action sequence is good.
Have you watched all of the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
No, even my love. I was in college at the time, so I wasn't necessarily getting out at a time where I could watch that show. But even at that point, my love of Terminator did not continue to me watching that fucking TV show.
Okay.
It's okay. It's an okay TV show.
Okay.
Like that is not a bad show. But also the idea of watching fucking Summer Glau as a Terminator is like not enough of like I don't understand human interaction. It's like okay, I don't. That is the least interesting part of the Terminator. I don't give a shit. You know what? Give me a fucking Terminator show where it's just Mean Girls.
Yeah, but you got
give me Mean Girls, but every once in a while somebody gets murdered with a fucking with some mimetic polyalloy.
I mean, I brushed it off, but I mean, after seeing Lena Headey as Queen Cersei, I'm like, yeah, maybe you make a good.
I don't think she was bad in that show. Cause also she was coming off of 300, and I was like, okay, all right. And Brian Austin Green plays Kyle Reese's brother in that.
Brother?
Yeah. Because they're like, we need somebody, but also, let's not.
Okay.
Also, apparently, somebody had done the work to go like, well, actually, it's a different continuity of Terminator. And it's like, fucking.
All right, whatever.
Fucking shut up. Okay. Like, it's a TV show. Just move on. Right. We don't. Also, apparently, Terminator 6 is they are just doing the Halloween reboot thing of those movies never happened.
That's what you gotta do.
Which I'm a big fan of. Just like, what movie? Yeah. The Superman Returns of.
Never happened.
I was about to say a madman, but that director has other problems besides being a psychopath. Anyways, so whatever. At some point, somebody pees into a Terminator in the Terminator TV show because it's a T-1000 that disguises itself as a urinal.
Okay.
That's just a clip that's just something that stood out in my mind.
Oh man, you think the person who like threw that idea out?
So no, somebody was 100% like, yeah, we're doing that. That's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. We have toilet tech on our CGI. We're doing that.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Shirley Manson plays that Terminator. Yeah. That show goes some places. I might re-engage with that show just to see what's up.
I guess they were going for a Christina Loken vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Christina Loken.
Yeah.
She deserved... Everybody deserved better than that movie.
Really.
Claire Danes came out on that one, alright?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Fucking movie. Fucking Elton John glasses.
You know what?
It's a bad movie.
You know what extra I did like in this movie? When...
Can I just say real quick? All the fucking extras are firing on all cylinders. The extras in this movie are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
All the day players, everybody in the background...
Yeah,
is fucking perfect.
Those twins playing the security guards.
From Good Morning Vietnam, which, by the way, that's a fucking weird movie to watch after I've watched Terminator 200 times of the brother killing his own brother, and then I'm watching I think are both of them in Good Morning Vietnam?
And Gremlins: The New Batch.
Okay, but I haven't. Okay, but go on. Sorry.
I really like the part where the T-1000, after he is a little messed up now from being blown up. He's melting into everything, so he puts his hand down.
That's what they cut out.
Yeah.
That's what they cut out.
He puts his hand onto the railing, and it sticks to the railing like Absorbing Man.
Yeah.
And there's I don't know if it's in the theatrical, but when
the only version is they do the scan lines. Oh no! Okay, I know what you're talking about.
When John looks down and sees that his mom's feet are stuck to the floor, they're absorbed into the floor.
That is not in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it's fine without it, because otherwise John has to, actually intellectually makes a decision of no, you're clearly not my mom. I like the idea of the robots being able to copy things, but then not necessarily understand what they're copying. Like, it's all, I mean,
in this one you have the two Terminators talking to each other as John and Jeanette Goldstein.
yeah, it's real good.
It's great.
It's
Are they supposed to be trashy? Because they have a huge, clean house.
No, they're not trashy.
Because, their clothes are all like, you know...
I think, well, here's the thing. First off, there used to be a time in America, and this was the end of it, where you could own a house. They are, like, you know, lower middle class, or, like, upper lower class. Like, the fact that there's a Trans Am, which is in the driveway,
right,
kind of proves that, like, maybe they're a little trashy.
Right.
You're right. They're sold a little trashier than they actually are. These are the important things about Terminator 2, is how trashy is John Connor's adopted family.
It's just weird that they have these clothes and this demeanor of being a little trashy.
Like, he's Al Bundy'd out and, like, drinking a beer.
I'm like, are they squatting in this house?
They might be renting the house. It might be a lease.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was thinking about the fact that, like, Adam Carolla is infamously, you know, from, like, lower class upbringing. But even he had a house. Like, even his deadbeat folks had a fucking house in the valley.
Right.
So I think about that. Basically, it's just me just putting Adam Carolla's, like, kind of crappy family over...
It was probably smaller than this one, though.
Yeah, like,
this is a big, clean, white house.
It's a pretty big house, yeah. I mean, it's a movie. What do you want? Yeah, with, like, your 700 square foot house in fucking Tarzana.
Yeah.
But anyways, so, yes, and they also own a dirt bike. But that's such a cool kid. So we haven't talked about Eddie Furlong. Eddie Furlong's good. I like him. People kind of give him shit for being a teenager, but also fuck you. The kid's like 12.
I like like I said, I like those points where he's not just trying to make the Terminator act like a person, but understand what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
He's trying
where it's like everybody else is just sort of given up.
Yeah. Like he has this, yes, exactly. He has that sense of, like, morality has to be instilled into this thing.
Yeah, and it's both, like, this thing of being a naivete, of, like, being a kid and not knowing that you can't fucking teach a Terminator to love, but also he's right.
Yeah.
Like, if you just give up on... I mean, this isn't really a theme of the movie, but it's like, yes, if you just give up on somebody and you treat them like shit...
Right.
They're gonna come back being like shit. I mean, you could very easily do this with politics, which is like, I don't know why the Middle East is so fucked up. It's like, well, you bombed them for fucking 20 years. It's like, if you treat somebody, if you hit a dog, it's gonna be it's gonna be mad at you.
I feel like if anything that is reflective of a good part of James Cameron's point of view, that, like, he feels like anybody should have a chance to be explained right and wrong and to make a moral choice.
Yeah, and this movie is, like, very black and white and, like, very clean cut about its morality and stuff, which I don't think the movie needs that. It doesn't need to have, you know, deep-seated intellectual... This is not the Seventh Seal. But it's got just enough of that to make it matter. And again, also, the second thing about John Connor is just that, yeah, it's, like, naivete, but then also you are also watching this as knowing that this kid is basically being trained to be a leader. And so then you see him treat the Terminator, and it is not so much as him just being a dumb kid doesn't know any better. There's also the tinge of he is making decisions and he's making moral choices as a leader, but because he's a kid, people aren't necessarily giving him the credit. And of course, in the end, that is ultimately the right decision that he's making. So it is that thing of, like, yes, if you treat people well, they're going to deliver for you.
Yeah.
You know? And also, it's the Terminator, so we can't just kill them off. That'd be a fucking bad... That'd be a terrible story.
Right.
It's just 40 minutes of them driving around in Mexico.
I do like that they blow up the truck with the T-1000 in it at the beginning, which is the climax, or towards the climax of the first one.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna basically do all of the things from the first movie, at least shuffle it up a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, we only got a few minutes left because I have to fucking go to work here.
You know what? We can probably skip the recommendations this week.
Well, I'll be real quick about that. That so much doesn't matter so much. Real quick, I just wanted to talk about couple other things. Bless you. The editing is fucking fantastic. This is one of the best edited. It's not even so much like the geography of the action scenes. Like, these are very well constructed action scenes, but it's the actual pacing. I think this is something we've talked about in other movies. Is the amount of, like, really good insert shots that just put, like, a little flourish on these. Like, again, I don't want just bring this up just to fucking harp on like the state of shitty action movies nowadays, because nobody fucking wants to hear about me talking about a movie that made $500 million and how it's not actually good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, for my money, again, old man James, but I think I'm right. There's nothing as fucking cool as him stepping on that rose. Like he's just walking in slow motion, and there's just a cut to him stepping on and there's the sound of the rose crunching, which is impossible.
So let me tell you, James, I saw this when I was 10.
Yeah.
And I felt like I understood most of the movie. And that is a testament to James Cameron's skills as a director, of like that adults can watch it and not feel, talked down to. It doesn't feel like a dumb movie that's feeding you everything. But a 10-year-old can watch it and be like, okay, there's the shot of the poison, and she sticks the, thing
like
in there.
The best. I'm sorry, I want to talk about the poison real quick. I was watching that. It's like the best, stupidest piece of filmic graphic design, which is like, okay, this is gonna be. There's only 6 inches of this is gonna show. So how much crap can we fit into this Roto-Rooter ass jug? And it's like, okay, so highly toxic, industrial strength, and just in case you missed it, the universal sign of poison, which would be on it. But I was just looking at this going like, that's fucking great, awesome, good. Thank you everybody for that.
At every point, you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And like the fact
there's few nuances I pick up rewatching it, because I realize I always thought that she put a empty syringe in that dude's ass. I just realized now she's doping that dude up when she stabs him in the butt.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know there were points that I didn't understand.
But those are minor.
I mean, even at the end, like, I think the ending, like, I didn't quite understand as a 10-year-old why he had to go down there.
Yeah.
And, like, so...
It's because to make the ending really cool.
I mean, okay,
you gotta make the ending sad.
Here's the thing. This is... just speaking of all the things that, James Cameron rips off successfully, this is the Shane ending.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, and this is, like, if look, anybody can do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is Logan. This is like 1,000 other movies. You get a kid to
And Logan, let's be fair, is very good about it. Actually, Logan is basically just Terminator 2 with an old man, isn't it?
It's like
nobody went, let's do Terminator 2. But what if we just added an old man?
What if you have this like indestructible, coolest guy in the world, and you have to kill him off? How do you make it sad? You have a kid cry about it. You know?
It's the most. I think I know I've talked about this with other movies. It's like the simplest trick in the world is, it doesn't work with comedy, but is you just have a moment and then you have somebody react to that moment.
Right.
And you go, oh, so this is real. Like, it's the stupidest thing in the world, but it fucking works.
No, no, it's absolutely true. And to make something sad, you have somebody like a kid cry about it, and it makes it all, you just feel it like that kid would.
And and again, filmmaking is a lot of lying and tricks. But if it fucking works, it's not a trick.
Yeah. I mean, you do your work. It's not like he brought a kid in from nowhere.
¿Por qué, señor Terminator? I must go. ¿Por qué?
It's that kid who was taking the picture of her in the first one.
Why the fuck did that kid come back? What a weird callback.
He finally has your Polaroid.
It finally developed. Oh man. So anyways, this is like a lot. I think this is a lot like the original Terminators. I could do a second episode just talking about Terminator 2, because there's the movie itself and there's everything around the movie. Yeah. Because this movie is still, and this is why it's episode 200. It is like
once again, just kind of like with our last week's movie, he ended up marrying her.
Yeah. What a weird connection for us to make. Also, still produced by his ex-wife.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that that's a testament to James Cameron. He's probably a terrible ex-husband, but at the very least, good producer. So
to be honest, he's probably a better ex-husband than he is a husband.
That is another episode.
Yeah.
I think to talk about.
I think Gale Ann Hurd knows how to finance a movie.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I think yes.
Knows how to do business.
Very much so. Yeah. Anyway, so let's just wrap this baby up. I'm sorry we can't do more.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Also, realistically, we could very easily just do a Terminator 2 Part 2, like without even watching it again, because this is a fucking good movie, and I've seen it probably more times. I have seen this movie more times than I've seen any other movie.
Wow.
because I've like started watching it at 5, and it was my favorite movie at 5,
Mhm.
and it shows, but it's like Temple of Doom, where I'm willing to admit to nostalgia, but also unlike Temple of Doom, I think this movie does hold up a lot better.
Yes.
And I know
Yes, it
that.
does.
And I've rewatched movies from my childhood, and I go, this is not as good as I remember it. Terminator 2 gets better. Or at the very least, Terminator 2 got better.
Here's what I'll give you, James. As much as I said before that I liked Terminator more for very specific reasons.
Yeah.
This is a better made movie. It's a better constructed movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost the knock against Terminator 2, is that it is so well made that you lose, like, it's like the Wu-Tang's first first album, or like punk rock guys' first albums, is they're not as well produced.
Right.
They're very good, but they're rough around the edges, and there's like a scrunginess about them. And then later on, they get the money, they get the studios, and you get that there's a sheen to it, and it isn't quite as raw. Maybe it's better. It is better lyrically or whatever.
Right.
But there's something to be said just about like that raw
energy.
Yes, and Terminator has it, and what is good about this is why whenever people want to compare the two, of like Terminator's better than Terminator 2, it's like they're completely different animals.
Right.
Which is Terminator 1 is the ultimate B movie, Terminator 2 is the ultimate AAA.
Yeah.
And to me, that is the two things. Anyways, ending's real good, chase scenes are real good. Let me just go blow through my fucking footnotes here. Great stunt work. That fucking helicopter actually flew underneath an overpass.
Yeah.
That guy died in a helicopter accident.
Wow.
That he was not flying in.
Jeez.
Somebody crashed a helicopter he was in. Which, how shitty is that? You're the guy... Anyways. But that's also, in Long Beach.
Those sequences were just amazing. Amazing, those sequences.
That guy's flying the fuck out of that helicopter.
I mean, yeah.
Anyways, also, this is why it's a culmination of all 80s action movies. It ends in a spark factory.
Yep.
Last but not least, here's my thesis for the film. It is a metaphor about masculinity and about machismo and about how it can only get you so far, and at some point you have to get rid of it.
Okay.
Or at least that is an interpretation you can have, because James Cameron clearly did not listen to his own advice. But anyways, real quick, the sound design is great. Just in general, fucking again, watch Black Panther. Tell me it's got better sound design. You're wrong. This movie has incredible sound effects. The gunshots, like the Beretta, the fact that it's pew, 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 makes no sense, but it's awesome. Then also there's one real quick piece of Foley work that I love, which is Sarah Connor. When she goes up against the wall in Pescadero Mental Institution, the nightstick hits the wall.
Oh, yeah.
What a great detail. I love when Dougie gets hit in the face. That's great. That's real edifying. And then what else? Just again, last but not least, Brad Fiedel's fucking the soundtrack in this is excellent. Here's something I noticed that I've never noticed before, is the fact that it isn't just a score. It is actually it isn't just music. It is scored. Like, the action scenes are punctuated with specific pieces of music. Like, when it goes, the music cuts out when he, like, jumps. The car waves.
I see what you mean.
Then there's a musical sting. Like, there's actually movements to it. It is scored like a fucking opera. Which is crazy. And then I was watching this, and it's something that you don't ever think about. It's something I haven't seen. And again, there's so many bad action movies nowadays where the music is just there to fill a gap. It's Brad Fiedel does a fucking awesome job with, like, basically just a synth and a keyboard. And it's a great score. If you listen to it on its own, you really hear the synths. It's not as good on its own, but as a film, and there are sounds in that movie that work for the film that I've, like, never heard before or since.
Real quick, I would say that watching it again, I'm pretty sure the Guns N' Roses song got plastered onto this movie.
Oh, I'm sure, but also I love it.
It's like it comes on so quickly at the beginning, listening to it on the radio, and then they don't even play the whole song at the end during the credits. Where any other movie,
it's like a 5-minute song though.
It's like they play it for like a minute and then they go back to the score.
I'll have to. I actually went through all the credits. I think it plays through, but who cares? I'm not going to argue with you about that. Anyways, so we'll blow through the questions. Is the name? I don't think it's a great name. I think it's a good name. Judgment Day kind of doesn't make enough sense. T2 is enough. T2 is a perfect title.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day, too much. Is this Quality Cruise?
I think so, James.
Yes. As a sequel, does it stack up? And I would say, I just mean, is it a worthy companion piece?
Yes, it does.
It is.
Yes.
I would say so. Recommendations real quick. I'll blow through this real quick. I watched 7 again for the first time, and I watched it again with somebody who's never seen 7 before. That movie holds up. It's a shame about everybody in it.
Yeah.
I was put it on, and I was like, oh, right, Kevin Spacey. Oh, right, everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt is a drunk, deadbeat dad, and he is number 4 on people who are pieces of shit in that movie.
Yeah.
Imagine that. You're number 4, and you're basically like, I don't think Dad knows my name because he's drunk.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Anyways.
I mean, 11 kids, dude. Like.
Look, somebody's gonna fall between the gaps. Yes,
Yeah.
but you gotta fucking show up, man. Anyways, so that's that. Plugs, everything's in the show. Thank you, folks, for sticking with us.
Thank you so
If
much.
you want to support this program and programs like it, go to patreon.com/quality. And that's about it. Cruz, do you have anything else to conclude this?
No, just thank you, James. This has been a good ride, 200, and I hope we live another 200 years, 1,000 years.
Look, I'll be honest with you, getting this far is pushing it.
A reign that will last.
Okay, everybody, thanks for sticking with us. All right, Cruz, let's get the fuck out of here.
My name is Cruz Flores, and I have a toddler.
I'm James Kislingberry, and I'll be back.